She said she loves you.
But she can't love me.
But I love you.
Yeah. Look, I love my friends going crazy. I gotta brag on myself, I amaze me. I phase me. I'm seeing Joe like I'm back in the 80s.
I won't play window anymore.
What's going on?
Play your role. 1xBet.
On to the next one.
YaLLa Compass 2025 season.
If anyone peeks through, they're both dead. They're both dead in the smoke. Bomb dropped, popped up behind it at the edge of. Away with a kill, but quick trade back from Ariel. Still through the
YaLLa Compass 2024 champions.
YaLLa, let's go.
Good morning and welcome back. YaLLa Compass is where we find ourselves, and it is the Contenders stage of the competition. My name is Hayes and I'm joined by ex-commentator, now professional player, Zerfa, who was in the server yesterday just casually beating Unity to qualify for a LAN. Like, okay Zerfa, pop off, bruv.
Yeah, I mean, it's not 100% sure just yet that we've qualified, but yeah,
Okay.
man, it was definitely a special day yesterday, and you know, it's a special day today talking about Compass, because you know we've got some really interesting matchups in the 2-2 bracket as well. Hayes, I know, you know, you were taken away a little bit early from us yesterday, but hopefully we'll get you at least for the first game of the day, and we've got 3 absolute bangers, 2-2 matchups. You win, you go through to playoffs. You lose, you go home. 9 Monty, Passion UA, Cyber Shock, and then a little bit later on, I missed it completely, so I'm gonna have to check on
RUSHB SASHI.
RUSHB SASHI. Thank you very much. It's a duo at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You have my
Gotta
back and
cover
I
each
have
other's
your
bases.
back.
That's it, baby. Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. And what a stacked set of 2-2 matches. Like, I am like, damn, these are some really big games. And I guess the Contender stage in general has just been stacked to the brim. So yeah, this is going to be certainly a very important day for all of these teams competing. No lives left remaining. 9 against Monty. I kind of feel like these two teams generally have kind of similar approaches in terms of how they like to build their teams. It's like international squads with some up-and-comers, with some experience sprinkled into the mix. Of course, we got way more experience in the IGL department here for 9. Rawls has been around the block as long as players like Carrigan, guys. Like, he's just hasn't reached the same sort of highs, but he's been around for a very long time. Mantu is the lifeblood in a lot of ways with the Yorp. He's the guy who's calling his own shots, so they kind of play around him, particularly on the CT side. Favin is their Mr. Reliable, who I've actually been very impressed by lately, who has actually been consistently performing well. You remember towards the end of the Bleed days, he was putting up really good numbers, and he's been doing that here with 9 as well. Bob XD and Kragan haven't really been as stable as I'd like. I know it's difficult for Bob XD to be consistent. He's in that like hard entry role, which I don't think he was doing before, actually. Was he playing with like Johnny Speeds before this? Can't remember which Swedish team he was actually. Just have a quick look here. Yeah, it was Johnny Speeds, that's right. And then Godsend before that. He wasn't doing like the hard entry role, which they've kind of molded him into here. I guess that's what they needed. They didn't have like any aggressive minded players, but this 9 team actually has something going for it at the moment, and I enjoy watching them play. How do you feel?
Yeah, I really do like watching these guys. I was a little bit underwhelmed, I have to admit, the last time I did watch them when they came up against Spirit Academy in the 2-1 bracket of Compass. I was expecting a little bit more, but they just got absolutely destroyed. And those kind of aggressive elements in the likes of Kragan and Bob XD on their kind of respective sides that are well used to kind of taking fights, it was almost like they were playing a little bit scared, and that's because mechanically they were just getting bullied in the server. So I'm hoping today is, you know, a new day. They've had enough time to kind of get fresh in their minds. They're coming up against a Monty team who we were watching yesterday, and they were unsuccessful against Zero Tenacity, who managed to close out that nuke decider 13-11. But on Mirage, Monty did look pretty good. They managed to bring it back after a little bit of a deficit, but for me, Hayes, and I said it yesterday and I'm going to say it again today, the problem I have with this team, even though I like it, I like the pieces they have, I think it could be a very good team, they are just way too inconsistent for me. They need to, you know, get a string of results together, and I think Monty themselves are wondering, what do they kind of have to do? Because, you know, it is so difficult to just go into a server and just consistently win. I know these schedules and these events are packed, but what is the kind of recipe for success? Because they don't have a bad player on this team.
No, that's actually a really good point that you make there. They don't have a bad player. Of course, they brought Haji and Afro into the mix. I feel like one of the problems with the ecosystem at the moment is that when you're in the space Monty is in, you're forced to play so many competitions because you're just getting invites left, right, and center. You can't turn them down because then you're going to drop down the ranking. And then you just have to play so much Counter-Strike. When do you get to practice, mate? Like, when do you actually get to blood Haji and Afro into the roster and grind out some scrims and go through all the different protocols and all the different responses that you want to have instead of having to figure out these things on the fly? And I think that's probably one of the main reasons that they haven't been consistent.
Yeah, I think that is, you know, a fair assessment. Sometimes you just need that little bit of extra time. You just need, you know, those extra couple of scrims and like a couple of days off. But yeah, like you just don't get it anymore. Like it used to kind of be an option, but you have to accept every single invitation. So you need to make sure that you are continuously climbing, and it is kind of a trial by fire almost. Just get in, learn while you're going. Looking forward to this video, though, Hayes, and I'm thinking, you know, there probably isn't too many places I would see an advantage for Monty in this one.
Yeah, it is tough. They kind of painted into a little bit of a corner here coming into the series. 9 probably just have the edge in the veto. No prizes for guessing the bans coming through. Permaban Inferno, Permaban Mirage. Kind of sucks for Monty. We spoke about how they like to play Mirage, like to pick the map. I think it's their most picked lately, so not going to have that luxury here. Dust 2 into Train. So that's fine for both these teams, actually. And then as the decider, we're going to have Nuke. So I'd say both teams pretty comfortable across the board here with this map pool.
Yeah, definitely. I think Monty, yeah, look, it was always going to be difficult. We were discussing it before we even went live that, you know, with Mirage getting removed, there is kind of oh no, what do we pick scenario for Monty. And I think Dust 2, it's a little bit of a risk considering their form hasn't been great on it, but I think you just have to take a stab in the dark here, hope for the best. Train, I don't like it as a pick. I really don't, because consistency again for 9 hasn't been great either on that map or just in general. And when you're playing a map like Train, Monty get the choice of sides. Monty are a very capable Train team. All of a sudden they can just lock you out of one of the halves, play the first half, play an absolute blinder, and it's game over before it even really starts. So you need to be on your A game, on your T side of Train when we get there onto map 2. But I'm kind of hoping that we do go to a decider here. If we get a nuke, I'm really excited because I think both of these teams are very, very capable, and I think that one will really just be an absolute bang out.
Especially with so much on the line, right? Like with the thing a 2-2 matchup, if it goes to a decider, which is going to be, like you say, Nuke would be a high-level map between these two teams, both very comfortable, both very good. I agree, like Nuke would be a fiery affair to determine which team goes through to the playoffs and which team gets eliminated here in the Swiss stage. And I can tell you right now, coming into the competition, the goal would have been for both these teams to reach the playoffs. So whoever falls short here, it's going to be frustrating for them, right? And just to go back to the point you were making about Train, I do tend to agree with you, but it seems like 9 are desperately trying to make it like their go-to map, their map that they can pick as frequently as possible. They pick it like 50% of the time, and you know what, Surfer, they have had good results on the map in May. They beat ENCE 13-7, Zero Tenacity 13-6, RUSHB 13-9, they beat Fnatic 13-8 as well. They won the map 6 out of the past 7 times they played it, so there is at least some sort of positive signs there for 9.
Yeah, there definitely is. I believe we might be sending this one, though, to a little bit of a break, unfortunately, as we are waiting for everybody to get joined up in the server. So we're going to take a little bit of a break, a little pause, but don't go anywhere because this will only be a very rapid one. We'll be back in the server with map 1, hopefully very shortly.
The Irish never lie. Zerfa wasn't fibbing when he said that it was going to be a rapid break before we jump into the game. And here we go. Dust 2 is upon us. The first map of the series. The 2-2 matchup in the Swiss stage. Everything on the line right now. 9 against Monty. This is Monty's map pick. 9 get to choose which side of the map they'd like to start on. It's going to be the attacking half where they find themselves. And they've got quite a lot of util here, mate. Couple smokes, a flash, a molly, a P250. Let's see what they're cooking up.
Might not even get a chance to kind of see that, but Monty, they have made a lot of steps in
Shots
towards
on.
tunnels.
Oh. Wait, he was so low. I thought it was a headshot. Okay.
I think it was dinked in the early beginnings of it by a USP through the doors, maybe. But now you've got 9 just waiting outside the tunnels, and Monty seem focused. They haven't heard anything, but they're just ready for this.
Yeah, they're fully committed with a 3-man setup in tunnels right now. 9 are like, wait, what the hell's actually going on? Rawls is going to try and make his way through middles, and he does actually get the kill onto Gizmy, but his teammates are struggling to join up with him. It's a 2v4 all of a sudden. It's just Bob XD. He'll go down as well. I mean, this is a completely unorthodox setup in the pistol round, but it's worked splendidly.
I don't want to say too heavily that it was kind of an anti-strat, but it almost had that kind of feel to it once they spotted, you know, the kind of information towards middle, that it was, you know, pretty light, still taking peeks, that didn't see anything. Everybody was just razor sharp in towards the tunnels, ready and waiting. Rals, how has he got away? How is he still standing? Rals has a chance at this. Oh my goodness. Lean eventually gets that pistol over the line. And I was thinking that one was already done and dusted. Rals didn't have a chance at it, and he should have been dead, in all honesty, about 10 times over, but he nearly actually clutches up, gets the ace and gets 9 the pistol, but instead, Monty, their little anti-strat works out.
I mean, I'm just surprised that they decide to try and fight him as much as they do in the 3 versus 1. They nearly give that round up there to Rawls. Got to lock in Monty. That was a really convincing pistol round right up until the way they try to finish it off. So, alright, they do win the round, and they look really clean for the first, like I said, 95% of it. And now it's going to be a force buy from 9 in response. Favin on that hero AK. Rawls drops the AK to Favin. He gets all those kills, so he invests the money into the big rifle and says, Favin, try and take full advantage here, mate. Justify my belief. And Gizmy's still searching. I mean, he was searching in the pistol. He's making moves here as well. So clearly Monty keen to fight on the front foot right now. And Gizmy completely overexposes himself. Afro's also committed. This could be trouble. He's going to be able to lock it down, though. He has got some support. Monty are taking the fight to 9 here.
Yeah, pivot towards B though here from 9, and it's getting a little bit messy, getting a little bit awkward on the B side for Ryu, and eventually he just gets overwhelmed. So bomb can be planted for Mantu, but not on that low HP when Haji is up close. He hits it with a tap. I don't think he was ever going to get it down, as Monty will claim their second. That one turns out to be a little bit cleaner than the pistol, but what is something that, as we go into a technical pause, that I'm really excited to see, and it's something that we didn't even get to touch on in the pre-game, is that we've got, you know, 2 of probably and arguably the best operas in the 2-tier scene at the moment in terms of form. We've got Afro on one side, who I know you didn't get to catch the nuke yesterday versus Zero Tenacity, but he was winning a lot of very important rounds. And then you've got Mantu, who has always been that kind of consistent piece for 9. You say like they like to call around him and everything, but his form this year has been impeccable.
Yeah, it certainly is a battle I'm looking forward to, and this is going to be the best map. I say the best map. We're going to see both the AWPers on Train as well. Dust 2 and Train must be the 2 heavily or most AWP-dominated maps, right? And when those are the 2 maps we're going to open up with here. You think Nuke... I mean, Nuke generally isn't like an AWPer's playground, is it, though?
I think so. I think so.
Okay, CT side, I can get on board with that. Like that rotator roll, you can have a lot of impact with the AWP. T side, it's a lot more difficult though.
Yeah, T side, yeah, but CT, I mean, it's kind of changed. It used to be like this map that operas used to love, and I think if you're a good nuke opper, it just elevates your team so much. If you know how to like rotate around that map and just get in the right fights at the right times, absolutely perfect. Like, it is definitely one that you can have fun, and it's a lot better than, let's say, an Ancient, because we know Ancient is just like I would prefer Nuke completely. I think Nuke is probably the 3rd on that list. Maybe Mirage, but yeah. Sorry, complete tangent there, but this pistol.
No, that's fair enough. This is the round to go off on a tangent anyway.
Yeah.
This is just an eco here for 9, although have actually shown a little bit of teeth in this round. Yeah, they've been able to get a couple of kills, so at least there's some damage inflicted. But no, you're right to highlight that AWP head-to-head, Afro and Mantu. I mean, they're two also very experienced AWPers, which is not something you always see with a lot of up-and-coming players. You know, Grix and Easy and I don't know, a couple of like these other teams like Phenomen on Cybershock and just the names that immediately come to mind. There's a lot of up-and-coming AWPers in the space at the moment where we've got two established, experienced players who have both played at Tier 1 throughout their career, right? So, obviously a bit of a drop-down for them. Oh, gives me, are you already slugging that monster, bruv? It's 12 in the morning in the UK. Where's the coffee? Come on, what have we done with culture, Zerfa? Reject modernity, embrace culture. It's got to be a ciggy and a coffee to start the day, surely. Not a vape and a monster. What are we doing here?
I can't lie, I've absolutely no leg to stand on because I'm also choking down one just to make sure that I'm...
Are you vaping as well?
No.
You also... Okay. You're halfway there. It's okay. Oh,
yeah.
I got a cup of Java here. Good old cup of coffee. Big fan. I get through like 3 a day. I'm about to buy myself a bean to cup coffee machine, which I'm really excited about. Anyway, I can tell you more about my coffee escapades when we have an Antica, because this is the first gun round. There is an open play on Afro and on Mantu, just as we were highlighting those two players. What have they got for us?
Looks like 9 are going to go into a little bit of a B split here, which could be a problem for Ryu and Haji. They've taken their eyes off tunnels though over towards B, and they are just so focused on this mid fight, which is a big gamble that they're kind of making, but it actually is going to be the correct read if the committal does happen. But 9 aren't going to be heading that way. They're just going to put Kraken in a position that maybe he could strike down a few rotations. It is going to be the pivot up towards short now. Afro has this AWP, and he's going to be the first line of defense.
Yeah, he's in the right place. He's got support as well, mate. So he's got Lean, who he can bait in here. The Molly on Faven, and then 2 flashes. Those flashes are going to have to be perfect. First one to blind him up. Second one to keep him blind. Okay, first flash successful. Where's that second one? Where's that second flash? They're going to try and duel him instead. Lean on the bomb side actually goes down to Bob XD. Afro hasn't been able to get anything in the meantime. This is where he's going to get overwhelmed. Oh, okay. Brilliant execute there from 9. They will get full side control, and they're finding the frags necessary to get the round on the board. Bob XD and Kraken combine. And there's very low health on a number of players, but they're all still alive, and it's just Gizmy left remaining, and he's going to walk into the AWP now.
Good timing. Not a good time for Monty though in that round at all. That is so awkward for Afro because obviously flashed blinded. He's probably not hitting that first shot. Second shot, he never gets given it. He's looking for the op. He knows that the op is going to be around there, but in the meantime, he's not taking any peeks up to help his side player. He's literally just looking to see if the opper is going to overcommit into the angle. But Mantu was never giving it to him. Never, ever giving it to him. And 9, they just steamroll through that round, keep everybody up, everybody alive. And Afro, he has invested in an AWP once again, but we need to see a big improvement and maybe, you know, a chance taken. Because if that happens again, I think he just has to go for a peek just to help out the side player, because he left him pretty much stranded, Ryu, and there's nowhere pretty much to go.
Yeah, very well played there. Very strong execute from 9, just in terms of how they go through the motions, the way that they push forward as well as a unit. Very solid. Now, Faven, has he got a window in front of him with the curtain open? Looks like Mantu does as well. I can't imagine that that's, like, ideal on the eyes. I don't know, man. Just, I'd draw the curtain myself. Just wouldn't want, like, glaring light coming through from in front of me. Oh, it's Bob XD, not Mantu, rather. Still, point stands. I guess better the window in front of you than behind you where you get the glare on the screen. That's the worst.
Yeah. I mean, but you're always, like, kind of permanently, like, half flashed. You know what I mean? Like, you've got, like, that, like, brightness, and all of a sudden it just starts getting brighter and brighter behind your screen at sometimes. It's just, yeah. I don't know. It's definitely better than the glare, but I think, surely it has to hurt your eyes, man. Surely it's just not good.
It's like perma-flashing yourself IRL. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, Monty are going to be able to afford a decent investment. Not a fantastic one, though. They've got the AWP again. M4 for mask, couple hand cannons. This is 9's chance, right? This is 9's perfect opportunity to really get themselves into the game. You win this 3-2, anti-eco 3-all. Kraken's going through the CT smoke, though. Afro's ready for this. He's actually tagged Kraken up. Kraken's hasn't clocked it. I'm not sure. He's just going to stay nestled in. But he can't do anything from here. Why has Afro not used that nade on Kraken? Did he not realize he tagged him? I mean, he'll still get a frag anyway. He's the one who has to lock it down on the safe bomb site. Kraken's now trying to close the gap. His hand has been forced. It's not ideal on such low health. 23 seconds on the clock. BobXD will catch Gizmy though, and that puts Afro in an awful position. And Kraken actually makes good of the fact he survived because he's gotten a kill from there.
That's a couple of awkward decisions now in the last 2 rounds for Afro that just leaves now Monty in a horrible spot where they're going to have to try and retake. Everybody coming through long, and 9 know it. Mansu posted up, AWP in hand. Ryu goes first and just gets absolutely obliterated. Mansu, he's not missing any opportunities that are being presented to him, not whatsoever. Haji's just posted up to see if he can maybe collect another frag and get out of here, but that won't happen. Nothing saved on the side of Monty as they just throw and roll the dice at that one, but it doesn't work out. And I'm kind of scratching my head at that one too. It's like, why hasn't Afro focused on Kraken? Maybe he wasn't expecting the reface and the repeak, but you have to think, you know, when he's kind of posted up on Kraken there, Kraken has nowhere to go, because if he goes towards Afro, Afro has a shot at him. If he goes backwards, the B players are going to be staring right at him as well. So it's just a little bit of a strange one. And it comes back ultimately to bite Monty in the ass. Yeah,
that's where I was going to go with it. It comes back to haunt him. He ultimately pays the price. It's like one of those movies where they let the bad guy go out of their goodwill. And then at the end, that like the bad guy is the one who comes and kills them. It's like, oh, that's insane. The butterfly effect in full effect in that instance there. And it is just peculiar, because it seemed pretty obvious that he had tagged him up, so I thought, yeah, just dunk the nade, right? Anyway, 9 aren't going to be asking those questions. They're going to be very happy, and they're looking pretty well drilled and well oiled right now, R9. That's going to be a flawless anti-eco, a very good boost to their finances as they level up the scoreline. And now we start to look at Monty, right? We looked at 9 initially when they went down 3-0 and said, okay, what have you got to respond? Great response. Now we look at Monty. It's like a game of tennis, ball back and forth. All right, Monty, ball's in your court now. You're not going to have the AWP. So how are you going to start to win some rounds back here? The gun rounds coming thick and fast. What have you got to display on the CT side?
I'd like to see a little bit of a switch up now, whether that be just some kind of aggression, and it might be over towards long. Maybe they were thinking about it. Yeah, gives me spam. Good enough for one. Needs to be very careful on the reload. He's just going to be caught. BobXD runs him down, and this is very fast paced from BobXD. That aggressive element in 9, the hard entry of this team. And it's a switch of tempo that 9 were continuously playing slow on their T side, but Monty right now, they just can't stop this. Lean is just going to be caught in no man's land and actually get pinched on down. And you've got Haji, or Afro, excuse me, in the smoke, just waiting now for his chance to strike, but he's waiting on a timing, hoping that nobody is looking or waiting for his teammates to get here. 9 are all over, already set up in post plans. I don't see a way in here.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I was going to say Afro could be the key that unlocks the bomb site. How's BobXD gotten another? That's insane that he's gotten a second kill before he goes down, because he was always going to die. And now it's Favin with the AWP posted up on the angle. Ryu still trying to clear out the bomb site. He doesn't have a kit. He's only got a smoke grenade. He's going to have to drop that smoke and start to stick the defuse and hope for the best. He's got just enough time here, Zerfa. Just enough time. Favin has to hit that $1 million shot. It's scathing by. You can hear the bullets whizzing by. Ryu's got the health here, and he's got the defuse just in time.
That was way too close for comfort, though. I didn't think that they were even going to get in there. And then, regardless of that, Ryu continues to take the fight after he's dropped the smoke. So, like, Favin had, I want to say, 3 or 4 clean opportunities to take him down there. Maybe if we're talking 3 before even the smoke went up. And then after that, you know, a lot of bullets, but they all just kind of whizzed by, and that's bad news for Afro. He has not had a perfect start to this game. When he's had the AWP, he hasn't really done all that much. This time on a rifle, already tied down to 7 HP. They've already lost Haji, but Afro making the best out of a bad situation, it would seem, and he's got a little bit of backup towards mid, but Favin trying to force this issue and gets punished.
it's the little step out there from Ryu that catches Fav, and Ryu re-aggresses ever so slightly. Talking about aggression though, Bob XD goes into this B bomb site. He's caught the timing. He knows Ryu's that B anchor. He sees in the kill feed he's just killed his teammate, so he's immediately scaled into that B bomb site. That's a very good read there from Bob XD to get a foothold, to give 9 something to work with. And that's not something that your captain can call. That's got to be you having that initiative and taking that action.
Yeah, it's a really good point. Like, that initiative, it's so hard to teach as well, because you either have that kind of little intuition or you don't. And Bob XD, you know, talking about his kind of transition into this role of this T-side entry monster that 9 have kind of made him into, it's just incredible to see that the amount of timings, the amount of, you know, moments that he can just be the difference. He was the spearhead in that long attack in the round prior as well. You know, they just send this guy in because they know that he can do a job. And even that time, he wasn't the head of the pack, head of the play. This time, he was just taking a little bit more space on his lonesome, on his own. And it just makes a difference there, just knowing, all right, where can a person be if I have a time in here, if I can exploit this, if I can find that gap. And that understanding of the game is just so hard to come by, especially at this high a level as well.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised to see it sort of transpiring in a Rawls-led team, because I feel like Rawls is the kind of captain to give space to his teammates, to his players, to make those sorts of plays, to read a situation and try and take advantage. Give them that license, and if it doesn't work out, he's not going to be the IGL to bite their heads off, right? I don't think there's any like super fiery individuals on 9's team, you know. Favin and Mantu, always known to be pretty stable, chill guys. Yeah, I'm just a chill guy. Kragan as well, doesn't really seem like, I've never seen him popping off or look like he gets really angry. Bob XD, well, he's the least experienced. So Rolls is probably the one guy who does get quite fiery sometimes, but that's fine if it's your captain, if he knows how to contain it, and Rolls certainly does. So yeah, I think there's a really good composition of just personalities in this 9 team as well.
Yeah, I think sometimes though having that person with that little bit of fire in them is excellent. You know, just that little bit of venom, you know, can make a difference. Because when you get into those kind of gritty games, you know, sometimes you do need somebody like that to really just be that kind of voice to really fire you up in those kind of moments. Now it gives me, I'd picked up a nice kill. After I was going to pick up that M4 and get out of there, because this is a 9 round for certain. But Monty, I mean, their CT side hasn't really gone to plan in their eyes, I would imagine, after, you know, a 3-0 start, only picking up a single round after that. It's been pretty much all 9, and I think it's been pretty comfortable for 9 either. I don't think Monty have caused them, you know, too many stressful rounds or even headaches.
No, they haven't. You're right. I mean, think about it. It was a great pistol for Monty to open up. They then convert against the Force Buy, and in the anti-eco, all good and well, 3-0. 9 answer back with 3 of their own. Think about how Monty won that 4th round. It was like a unlikely smoke diffuse being stuck there with 1 player left alive. Okay, great, you won the round, but that's not very sustainable. You can't rely on that. Afro will be tucking himself in behind the car. Mantu could actually stop him from saving though. Yeah, hello! Jumps up on the trash bags and drops Afro, but the way 9 have won rounds has just been way more sustainable so far. Like, it's just been down to the systems. It's been in their control throughout. It's been them winning the round and not Monty losing the round, if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Sometimes that is just such a tell in these kind of games, you know, just the way that teams are winning rounds. I mean, eventually it gets to a stage where you don't care how the rounds are won, but definitely this early on, you want to be at least somewhat confident in your ability, and that's a whole lot better. That's Afro on the op for the first time in a while, and he's found a pick, he's found an opening kill.
And there's another straight through the smoke. I don't even know if the smoke was broken open. Maybe he could just peer above it there, but that's going to be a fantastic way for Afro to open up, posted on the angle between the doors. Mantu shift walks into the scope. This is what you're talking about from Afro, delivering the goods right now. CT side does too. This is where he has to come alive with that sniper rifle, and he's done exactly that.
And he has that in him, you know. He usually is the guy to find those kind of openings on the CT side as well. They do rely a lot on him to find that initial pick. Heavy investment, obviously. It hasn't paid massive dividends until now, but still, I mean, Monty not playing their best, and a 5-5 scoreline is not the worst situation. That's, of course, if they 100% convert this round. And 9, although it's a 2v4, I'm going to give them an opportunity at this one, because bomb site completely forfeited. You can get this plant down. Now, it's just about how you find these kills, and if you find these kills, and if you read into the room where the rotations are going to be coming in from. Ral's getting aggressive. He's the high HP, but he's just good for 1, leaving Bob XD versus the world. Afro down below him. Gizmy swinging out towards long, just hitting jiggles right now. Gun barrel spotted. Afro beginning to creep, and Afro to seal it. 4 in the round from the French sniper, as Monty will level things up. And I think a round like that just gets you going now. I think a round like that should get you back into this first half.
It gets the people going. It's provocative. the good old meme, man. But yeah, it does. It gets me going around like that from Afro. That's really good. I mean, stable working towards middle, just holding angles, but then he was still required to finish off the job there. Good discipline from Gizmy not to cross from long back into A, while Bob XD with the AWP was posted on him. He just lets Afro walk up the ramp, and he knows he's going to find a favorable angle because he's further away from the obstruction. So he'll see Bob XD before Bob can see him. And that's exactly what Afro relies on as Monty re-level up the scoreline. And they're still in a bit of an awkward place with 9 having a lot better finances behind them right now, but Monty are holding on, and I'm expecting them to probably have a slightly better time of it on the T side, so even if this does end 7-5, I'm not at all writing Monty off at that point. I think CT side Dust can actually feel really difficult sometimes, I think, you know?
Yeah, CT.
I don't know what you think.
Yeah, no, I think CT side on Dust can be a big problem. And if we're talking about 9 specifically, the last time they played their CT side, it was against Spirit Academy, and they got 2 rounds out of 12.
Oh god.
So,
okay.
You know, that might be playing into your mind too. That might be in the back of your head a little bit. That, oh yeah, we got owned last time out. Let's make sure that we pick up a couple more rounds on this T side. And that's exactly what Favin's going to try and do, as the rest of the team are making their way out on this B bomb site. Afro smoked off, 19 HP. And I'm already calling a save here. Monty are doing exactly the same.
Yeah, absolutely. You just got to make that cutthroat decision, I'm afraid, because if you just even feel it out with one player, he goes down, then that next investment is going to be much more worse, or far more worse, should I say. 9 regain the lead. Good round coming through from them, just initially kind of doubling up in tunnels, spotting the boost on short. Maybe that kind of prompted them to try and go into the B bomb site with some pace. Lean's going to be heard here. Oh my goodness, Favin. This frag is free. And these are instances where looking for exit kills is just not worth it at all. Like, it just doesn't make any sense why Lean would look for an exit here. Next round is last of the half. You know that 9 will have money. You've just cost yourself there.
I absolutely hate it. I hate it. It's, you know, it's maybe it's the inner coach in me, but like when my team used to do it, I used to really just despise it. It's like, oh yeah, I'm going for a save. Yeah, no, don't you worry, I'm going for a save. And they're literally sat outside pretty much the bomb site. Like, they're still getting tagged up quite heavily from the bomb, but they're saving. And the excuse is always, oh well, I couldn't get away. I couldn't get away. You know what I mean? I had to try and take a little bit of money away from them. No, it's just not worth it whatsoever. Now you've got 3 players on SMGs, and honestly, unless we see something heroic from these SMGs and something extremely aggressive and maybe a misstep from the side of 9, I don't know. I think this one could definitely get away from them. Now, what is going for them is Mantu is kind of sticking around towards the doors. In fact, it's Fav, and they've got a double AWP in this round. Bob XD holding down the spray. That's a perfect way to open up that B bomb site. And Monty, 2 SMGs and an AWP. Let's hope it's enough to topple 9.
I mean, good luck. I don't think it will be. Not with how solid 9 have been so far. They've lost 2 rounds since the opening 3 throughout the half. They've been in complete control of these gun rounds, which is not a great look for Monty, I'm afraid. This B bomb side has hemorrhaged as well. Feels like Monty have played a very detached setup. I don't remember a single round where they had like a 2-man setup on the B bombs. It's always been like middle and short their priority. Either way, they're going to have to attempt the retake this time round. They have got A-Kit, they've got a smattering of utility, but there should be no way they're breaking back in here.
I mean, util is great. You can force out a couple of positions, but again, it's these SMGs that are going to be the problem. Smoke over towards the tunnels is actually going to isolate two, so it's a 2v2 on the site, and after I was picking up a couple of kills, Gizmy with a nice find onto Kragan here, but Gizmy going down just guarantees that this one isn't going to go their way. Molly down, Afro is going to have to sprint through it. And time is ticking. Afro does have a kit. He's already out, and well, Mantu's lost him, but he will get the better of him as 9 come out on top and get the better of Monty in that first half.
Okay, well, it all works out in the end. I thought the molly might be too deep, but you're right, the time was enough to just basically guarantee the round for 9. Yeah, this is the round where they do have 2 players on the B-bomb side, but they're not like prioritizing defending the site, they're more prioritizing fighting. We never really saw like crossfire, one player car, one player buck back at the side, take contact, play off of each other kind of thing. And the B-bomb site certainly did seem very weak throughout that half there for Monty, I'm afraid. As for 9, that's a successful T-side on display from them. They will take that every single day of the week. 7-5 after losing the pistol.
Couple of pieces of util on the side of Monty for their T-pistol. Julie's and a smoke on Kragan. Flash on Rals. As the setup is quite A orientated, I would say, on this pistol. They're leaving Kragan alone to block on B should he spot anything else out. But they are quite susceptible right now to a mid to B pistol. If that turns out to happen, Kragan could have a big problem on his hands.
Yeah, Monty have been able to at least get a little bit of space in towards middle here. Favin is boosted up on the box, so he should have a little bit of an angle here to try and deal with the smoke. Yes, he spots them all on the cross. Calm tap. He's going to find 2. They don't realize where the shots are coming through from either, but however, there is an immediate response here from Monty. Oh my goodness, not only have they responded, they've actually been able to go one step further. They've gotten themselves a man advantage.
And you've got Gizmy as well, that's just a nuisance right now. Him staying alive is just a big problem because Nines can't run towards the site and kind of commit to this retake. Mantu now has to find 3 players all on his own, and he knows where one of them is definitely. He can spot a couple more jumping on the site. He needs to